Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the podcast today. I'm working on growing my YouTube channel at Alex Swire-Clark. I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and like any and all videos that provide value to you. All of the podcasts can be found there, as well as lots of different video content on emotional intelligence and how you can apply it to improve your personal and professional relationships. Thanks for subscribing, and now on to the show. Why is communication just so darn challenging? I mean, that person over there is just dumb. No, they're not dumb people. No. Why is it so challenging, and how do we break down the walls of miscommunication? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome to the Rapport Advantage Podcast, transforming the way leaders communicate. Here's your host, human behavior expert and professional speaker, Alex Swire-Clark.
People give and receive information in totally unique ways. We all have a specific lens that we look through that determines how we see life. And until you learn how to broaden that lens, expand it, you're not going to be able to communicate with people as effectively as you could, and your relationships are going to suffer as a result. Today we're going to learn about what motivates people, what drives people to do what they do and say what they say. And also we're going to learn about why people communicate verbally the way they do. Some people do it really short, some people do it really long and expanded. So that's what you're looking forward to. Let's take motivation. Get in that Wayback Machine and go back to high school for a minute. We're back in high school, we're in the gymnasium, we're at a pep rally. It's fundraising sales time. The music's blaring over the background. Seniors are on the floor. They're raising hands and going crazy. People have poster boards up. People are fired up and excited. At least most people are excited. Again, what's going to motivate these people? What's going to motivate you to go out there and be a top salesman in your class? It's going to be unique for you versus Sally versus Bobby versus John down the hall. Some people want that cash prize at the end. Highest salesperson gets a $100 gift card to Amazon. Woo! That's going to get some people fired up and get them to knock on doors of strangers, approach people in their car and roll down the window at the median in the parking lot. It doesn't matter. They want that money so bad, they'll do whatever they have to. Some people, it's the experience that's involved. They want that chance at the end to take that cream pie and shove it right in the principal's face and get the crowd roaring and woo! And the whole school's looking at them as they smash that pie in the face. And then some people are more concerned about, what are we raising these funds for again? What's the money going to? How is it going to impact the kids here at our school? How is it going to impact the charity we were raising that money for? And then some other folks are motivated by the why. Why are we doing this again? Why is this such an important cause? Give me some reasons, some facts. Why should I support you in this effort? You would think that everyone would be focusing on the music or the glamour or the prizes or the experiences, but not everyone does. Everyone's motivated differently. Again, we look through our world in this lens, and mine is a little bit different. And so is Sally's. And so is yours. And until you understand that, you're going to butt heads when you're trying to communicate, because if you try to motivate people in a way that motivates you, you're going to miss 90% of the population. So when we're talking about this motivation and verbal communication, we really are going to focus on the DISC model of human behavior. And if you haven't watched my other videos about high D's, high I's, S's, and C's, take a look below in the links down in the description, and that will get you to those videos so you can understand what the heck am I talking about when I say a dominant style. You won't have a clue right now. So pause it, stop, go visit there, come back, and film. All right, so we're back, and we're talking about high D's. High D's are direct in how they communicate. They're going to say things in very few words. So if you ask them, hey, Jane, did you get my email? Their response is going to be, yep. Okay, what'd you think? Well, that's not what you asked them. You said, did you get my email? And so from there, they're answering your question. They have probably 4,000 other emails they've got to go answer and go to deal with stuff and be on the move. So high D's like to move fast, talk fast. So they're going to squish everything and make their communication verbally as succinct as possible. But they also interrupt you. And again, their brains are just loaded with things all the time. New ideas, new facts. Let's go. Let's start this new company. Let's start this new hobby. I got to start this yoga class because I got to go get in shape, whatever happens to be. And so if you're in the middle of explaining something to them, you can be saying, okay, so we're looking at this refrigerator over here at Lowe's. Okay, well, how many watts is that again? It's a 65 watt unit. Okay, so we're going to open up these double doors, and on here you'll see the freezer. So wait, is that like, how often do I have to change the filter? So they're going to interrupt you. Again, it's not because they're mean or they're being a jerk, but these are direct and they are going to get their questions answered as soon as it comes to the forefront of their brains. High I's. Man, they're fun. They're all about flavor. They're all about communicating with their hands and getting all up in your face and going, woo, let's do this thing. They're going to be excited and they're going to vary their tone of voice all the time. And if you are one of those high C or high S styles, the more reserved types, you're like, okay, dude, you need to land your plane. You're getting a little too close to me. Body language, invasion of privacy. But that's how I's do it. They are all the time going and thinking and they just can't, oh, whoa, how many lights are in this kitchen? That's how their minds are wired. So they suffer from shiny object syndrome. SOS, it's horrible for them because they can be in the middle of a thought and then, ooh, is that a blue colored house? I mean, who paints their house blue anymore? It's a totally different thought. They're not trying to upset you by saying, hey, hello, stay on point here, okay, McFly. They're not doing that. That's just how they're wired. So when you're talking to an I, you really need to be aware of that. Keep them focused, keep them on point. Don't be afraid to go, hey, let's bring it back in because they're going to be easily distracted. From an email perspective, it's really hard for them. I know we're talking about verbal communication, but I want to talk about email for just a second. Or texting. Eyes live with emojis. They love it because it's such a part of who they are. Those mediums are cold. Email and texting without emojis, they don't know how to express themselves. So keep in mind, eyes are always going to do whatever they can to express themselves, no matter the medium. If they're talking verbally to you, if they're using text messages, email, some type of letter, they're going to use as much emotion as they can because that's who they are. They're emotional beings. High S's, they speak softly. When they do speak, S's don't like to rock the boat in situations. So in group discussions, an S isn't going to offer their input because they don't want to make someone upset. They avoid conflict like the plague. They just can't stand it. So you can be in a discussion with someone and say, hey, where do you guys want to go for dinner? And an S is going to be like, I don't know, where do you guys want to go? They're never going to be the first person to say, ooh, Hardee's, Taco Bell, KFC, Olive Garden. They're never going to do that because they don't want to offend the rest of the group. They're just going to sit back and go, where do you guys want to go? I get so tired of deciding all the time if I'm a D or a C or those types because they want the S to give them input, but S's just don't want to rock the boat. So they will give up their own wants and desires to please others in the group. And sometimes as a high S, which I am one, my wife will say, where do you want to go to dinner? And unfortunately, sometimes I'll say, well, I don't care. Where do you want to go? It's not that I don't care. It's that I don't have a preference. Again, eyes want to please others. And so I want my wife to be happy. Happy wife, happy life. So if she decides that she wants to go to Olive Garden or Longhorn or wherever it happens to be, I can find something on the menu there just fine. And so from that, she's going to be happy because she gets that nice steak, which she likes, and I get that chicken parmesan, and life is good. And then there are the high C's, those cautious types. They speak in more of a monotone, direct, squinchy-eyed, discerning kind of a look on their face. Never too high with their expression, never too low. High C just wins the lottery. Yay. Just lost their dog. Oh no. It's really all the same for them. So the outgoing styles are like, come on, man, let's get excited, let's get fired up, let's go, yay, it's a party, I mean, we got to cheer for the team. Yay. We don't understand as high D's and I's why the C's don't have a little bit more emotion. I mean, let's get it fired up. What you don't understand is those high C's, when they're communicating in this monotone way, in the background, their brains are going 4 billion miles an hour, always processing, asking questions. How can we make this better? Why are they going around the island at that restaurant? If they just went back here, cut off like 6 steps, they could get to my table faster, efficiencies, they could get more people in and out, So they're always thinking and processing. When it comes to verbal communication, they're going to be monotone. And it's not because they don't have interest in what you have to say. They're just thinking about what they need to say because, again, they're cautious. They're not going to speak without going through all the calculations they need to make sure they're saying the right thing at the right time to the right people. Without self and social awareness, we're just not going to communicate effectively. And we haven't even started talking about cultural differences, language barriers, religious differences, how you were raised, any of that stuff, because all that applies when we're talking about how we communicate with others. So that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the challenges of conflict and why it's relevant and why it happens so much. But again, understanding personality styles, self-awareness, am I a high D, am I a high C? How does that impact the way I communicate with a high D or a high I? Those are the questions we can answer in a later video, but that gives you really that 10,000 foot surface in terms of what you need to know to understand, conflict is a struggle, and here are the reasons why. So if you're interested in finding out more about yourself, you can certainly take an assessment, find details below in the description box, or make sure you head back and watch those high D, I, S, and C videos, because that will give you some insights into that self-awareness and social awareness that we so desperately need to communicate effectively.